We left Tobruck under cover of darkness, stomachs knotted with fear and worry. The truck bumped along dirt roads, while my thoughts churned. Ahmed was relocating us to Azerbaijan. Clive still had contacts there. I felt powerless, my destiny controlled by others. Resting my head on Tommy's shoulder, I closed my eyes and dreamt of happier times. As a girl, I would gratefully put aside my wrench and oil can at the end of each day and listen to the stillness, feeling the early evening sun on my skin, hearing the birds sing to each other. Nights were a time for warm bread, chilled wine and stories. My favorites were Tommy's tales of his time flying alongside my father, a man who I only ever knew through legend and hearsay. I can't sleep. Tommy, tell me about Constantinople again.
Constantinople?
Yes. I knew Deedee's father there. He was a dashing figure. All the lads respected him. We both flew in the naval barrage of Constantinople, the Battle of Gallipoli in 1916. We were in different squadrons, but if you flew, you knew the name of Lieutenant Guia de Beck. I was a young man then. My third combat flight, something like that. Your father was a hero to the lads, a decorated ace with 12 kills to his name. He'd been shot down at least 3 times before Constantinople, so he thought he was invincible. And so did he, often trying to draw crabs to keep the other boys safe. Our first job was to locate artillery targets. I always tried not to think about what happened on the ground. We spotted the targets the brass picked out. Those targets were shelled. And the men down there, doing their job, hoping against hope. We would never see them. Just our pilot's view of the patchwork war raging beneath us. So remote. We pointed the finger and people died. Your father, Guillaume de Beck, he must have had thoughts like those. Thoughts of who he was killing. He'd play at dogfights and sometimes shoot the enemy down, but you could tell his heart wasn't in it. He'd do what he had to do. Once the ground targets were smoked, we were to check the beaches for a suitable landing point for the Anzacs.
Oh yeah, bring on the diggers. What was it about? Constantinople, I mean.
About? It was about removing Turkey from the war. If we'd taken Constantinople, well, things would have been different, I suppose. But it didn't quite go to plan. The mission didn't exactly go to plan either. We took a lot of hits. Well, a lot of men died that day. Something like 250,000 on either side through the entire Dardanelles campaign. We'd hit the third waypoint along the beach when I saw him. Still playing with flak, Guillaume lost an engine and began to dive towards the sea. I couldn't hear him then, but I knew he'd shout out what he always said when he took his whiskey, or when his plane was hit.
Tally-ho! Into the drink again.
She knows that line.
I know that line.